Welcome back to part 2 of the Saranrae Dungeons & Dragons inspired desk. So when we last left you, I was working on the top and I was doing a faux, kind of a fantasy wood grain finish. And I say fantasy just because it involved some unusual colors that you wouldn't normally find in wood grain, such as Florida orange, kernel mustard, tobacco road, and drop cloth. So I sort of blend these colors together and then I run the wood grain tool through it. Next, I wanted to incorporate an element that was around her halo. So I took the Florida orange and I used an artist brush, and this was a little time consuming, but I used Florida orange, the kernel mustard, and then the drop cloth, and just kept putting the stripe, kind of looks like candy corn right now, and just used a neutral brush and blended it together just like I would if I were blending a larger area. And then I take that mud cloth stencil that kind of coordinates with the decoupage paper, and I'm just holding it along the edge, and I'm only using the triangles that point upwards. And I'm using chocolate and a dry stencil brush to get those images. Next, I want to focus on that linear image that's down at the bottom of the angel. And so I'm just using some masking tape, and I started in the middle, at the middle point of the design. And then I'm just using one piece of tape, and then I'm flanking it with two other pieces of tape. And I continue to move the middle piece of tape and just taping off the entire section. And I'm using, again, the chocolate, and I'm just kind of painting within the lines. So to get a really crisp line, I should have gone over it with a drop cloth first, but I had my tape down pretty securely, so I got a pretty crisp image, and I'm going over it pretty lightly. So I was happy with the way the stripe turned out. I really struggled with this part of the design. I struggle with a lot of the part of the designs. When someone tells you not to be literal, it's hard not to be, to just convey the tones and the vibes from a picture of an angel without actually depicting an angel. So, especially since it's a guy, this is what I came up with. So I hope that he really likes it. We'll find out soon. It's going to be picked up soon. So I continue around the back, and then next I had to repair a section and I was dying to put angel wings in there somewhere, so my repair presented an opportunity. I'm using that Crayola clay, air dry clay, and I'm using an IOD or Iron Orchid design mold. And I found out, don't ask me how I know, that I needed to use cornstarch in the mold. Otherwise, the Crayola clay did not want to release. So that's what you saw me doing, was dusting that mold with cornstarch. So I got a really good image. That's what I'm doing, is dusting that mold with cornstarch just to make sure it releases. But then just putting the clay in, smoothing it out, getting rid of the excess, and it really pops right out. So I'm getting my angel wings on there really inconspicuously, but they're on there, so I'm happy. And like I said, I hope he's really happy with it too. If that's what he presented me with, he should be. So here's the mess I'm covering up. I really had to stabilize this metal desk that was taken from another desk with wood. So in order to get it to work, I had to really put some heavy-duty artillery on there. So I'm using the angel wings to cover up my mess. So I used wood glue. I'm using Titebond's Thick and Quick. And I used a generous amount, and then I'm using some tape to hold it in place until it dries. I have the desk upside down right now. The clay cracked a little bit, which is normal, and I filled it with Dixie Mud before I painted. I used Dixie Belle's chocolate to paint out the entire base, and then I dry brushed the wings again with the drop cloth. So here's my inspiration again, and my instructions not to repeat it literally. So how do you think I did? These aren't staged photos simply because it's in my shop waiting to be picked up, and just with everything going on, I don't have the time. But I just hope that you like, and I hope more importantly that my client likes the desk that I painted for her son. I kind of think that now that I look at it all finished, that I think it's really kind of cool because it does take all the elements and the tones and the vibe, I think, of the original image, and it gives him kind of a serious desk with a little bit of that touch of fantasy. So I'm pretty pleased with it, and I really hope that my client is too. So I hope you enjoyed part 2 of this series. Check the description box for my affiliate link to purchase Dixie Belle products. Using that link doesn't cost you any more, but it gives me a little kickback. There's also the link for my Amazon wish list, another way to support my small business. Thank you so much for watching today. If you like this video, how about giving it a thumbs up and also share it with your friends? If you haven't subscribed, you'll want to do that so you don't miss anything. Visit us at LaVintageDecor.company, and on Instagram we're LaVintageDecor, and on Facebook we're LaVintageDecor Altoona. Stay well.